Hey guys, so I'm here to talk about my anxieties and how I feel when I'm public speaking and talk about the degrees at which I feel certain anxieties. So, the first one, trait anxiety, I don't feel like I relate to very much. Maybe a low degree, just because trait anxiety means like a characteristic of someone like being shy or timid, and I don't really feel like I'm very shy or timid. I feel like I'm more reserved. I keep to myself, but I'm not really scared or like I I view like shy people as like scared of everything and just don't want to get out in a crowd. And I don't mind being out in a crowd, but I do like to keep to myself most of the time. And looking at state anxiety, I think to some degree I relate to that a lot just because that's deals with negative experiences, and I tend to talk really fast when I get nervous, and I turn red, and sometimes I'll sway back and forth like I'm doing right now or twiddle my thumbs just to try to put that anxiety or stress somewhere else to distract my brain from what I'm actually doing. So I've done that. I've talked so fast at a presentation before that the teacher actually told me to calm down, slow down, take a deep breath, and keep speaking. So I had to do that. But I think to the highest degree, I relate to scrutiny fear just because that means when you're being watched very closely. And I personally feel like every time I step up in front of a crowd, I, it's not that I'm being watched closely, but I feel like there's so much judgment towards me that all I want to do is try to be perfect, and nobody's perfect except for the Lord. But I sit here and I think about it, and it just stresses me out thinking about it, about how people are judging me if I mess up or do something wrong. But other than that, I think I do pretty well. I try really hard to kind of say what's on my mind and not so much memorize piece by piece, which is good. And if I'm looking at the ways to help my anxieties, because I mean, I do have a few that have become a habit, I would probably say prepare well as my number one. I love to be organized, and I don't really like to procrastinate. I like to get my work done when it should be done. So I think prepare well would be my number one idea to help. And then two, the breathe and release. I think that helps me a lot, and I think that it will continue to help me once I talk in front of the class. So I'll tend to do that, and I'll breathe and release, and hopefully it'll help. And lastly, I think speak out loud, practice out loud, just because I think practicing in front of the mirror, actually watching myself, is probably the best practice I could get out of anything, just so I can critique every little thing. So I know what I'm doing wrong and I know what it looked like. So I think practice out loud, hearing myself speak, and not really memorizing, but like speaking off my brain and thinking about it, really engaging in it, not so much memorization, is really helping me. So that's about where I stand with everything. So yeah.